Hi guys, welcome back to the Yorkshire Modeller. We now have issue 10 of the Spitfire. With issue 10, we are getting we're fitting the exhausts and other details to the engine. Now, the last issue we actually completed the supercharger and we attached it onto the engine itself. Now I have gone ahead and attached these cables. In the last video I hadn't attached those two silver cables at the top there. The reason I hadn't done that was because the part that has the like brass bits on, so this bit just here at the top, for some reason wouldn't sit properly inside the where it should do, so I've had to do a little bit of tweaking and moving things around, but I've managed to get those in. I did use a bit of the superglue activator just to set the superglue really quickly, so that it's sat a little bit better and it's ready to go now. So that's the engine from the last issue. We get the actual exhausts, we get a few pipes here as well. So what I'm going to do is, same as always, bring my pot in, get a little bit more glue in there, just add to the nose itching. If you didn't watch the last video, I appear to have an allergy to superglue. It makes all my nose around here really itch, so these builds are fun. No, I do enjoy it, I do love them, genuinely though, I do love them. Right, so, take the pump, and if you've ever seen bottom, there you go. Take the pump 10.9, which is this one here. Note that one side is rounded with a central peg. The other side has short spurs and a shaped central peg. So that's the rounded peg, and then the other side has the burrs there with the short central peg. Take the engine assembly from the previous issue and position it upside down. So position it upside down. There we are. So fit the shaped peg on part 10.9 into the matching recess in the back of the supercharger. The pipes attached to the pump are angled slightly across the sides of the engine. When you're happy, apply a little superglue and to the peg on part 10.9 and fix the parts together. So it's this hole just here that we're attaching it to. So that kind of like half moon shaped hole just there. So we'll put a bit of glue on this peg. That might be a little bit too much there. No, actually that should be fine. So it's the shaped peg that we're attaching it to with the little burrs on either side, and that will just go straight down and into there like that. Not like that, like that. So make sure that sits properly in. Sometimes it just takes a bit of time for the super glue just to grab. If it's still a little bit damp, it won't grab properly. So that's attached. That's that bit done. Now the next step of the instructions, step 2, turn the engine on its side so that you can access the right side engine cover. So this is making sure, by the look of it, that the supercharger is so you'll be when you're looking at it, you'll be looking at it that way round. Okay, so I've obviously got to turn it around so I can see exactly what I'm doing here, and I'm still holding that bit in place. Turn the engine over on its side so you can access the right side engine cover 10.6. The right hand pipe of part 10.9 fits into a hole in 6.1 as indicated by the yellow line. Add a little super glue and fix in place. So on these, let me grab a pointer. So on the side of the engine here, you've got these metal bars. On the underside, I can't really show you because it's really pushed in, but there's like a little engraving just inside there. That's where this part's going, and that just kind of slots all the way around and into that hole. So what I'm going to do, I know that glue should have set by now, so I'm going to put a bit of glue on this end here of the pipe that comes off part 10.9. So wrap that glue around there, and then just very gently try and pop that into the right place. There, that's in. Nope, that's not in. There we go, that is in. No, it's not in. Try not to knock the cable while it's the glue's setting. I'm going to put a bit of kicker on that. So all you do, whoa, losing my lid now for that. So all you do is just a couple of little squirts of that. That will then set the super glue, at least, you know, gently. So if you were to pull it, it'd still probably come loose, but you'll be able to just, you know, have that cable in there. Okay, so that's that one. The left hand pipe has to be fitted on the underside of part E. Right, that's that one. So on this part that you've got just here, there's a little kind of like projecting bit. This cable has to fit underneath there, and then by the look of it into the same hole as on the right hand side. So the instructions say the left hand pipe of part 10.9 has to be fitted under part E, which is labelled on the instructions, and then it fits into the recess on the other side of the left engine side. Part 6.2 is indicated by the yellow arrows. Apply a little super glue. So what I'll do with this one is exactly the same thing, just a dab of glue on there. And now what I'm going to do, just slide that under there like that without getting it stuck to it. There we go. And then just gently push that into place. Crikey, I need more lighting in here to see exactly what I'm doing. There we go. Right, so that looks like it's in. That's unbelievably fiddly. And I've just put a little bit of the kicker on there as well, just to hold that side in. So that cable is now all attached to where it needs to be. So that's those two cables all done. Right. So now this is the bit where I've seen on the Facebook group for this bit is fiddly. So like, take your time. I'm going to just get my tweezers. And I'm just going to use those. I'll be back with you in just a second. So, tweezers, got those. Now, in terms of what we're doing next, it's step 4. So, take part 10.7, which has a peg on the end inset in the picture. So 10.7 has a peg on the end, which would be that one. Because that one's got the peg just there, you can see it just on that side, and that one has got like a socket, so you know which way round these two parts go. So here we go for the fiddly bits. Identify the socket circled on the side of detail A and B fitted in issue 9. Position the pipes along the side of the engine arrow, along the sides of the engine, arrowed, so that you can fit the peg on the end of the pipe into the socket inset. Glue in place. So this cable, this silver cable that we added in the last issue, just in here on the supercharger, that little hole there is where that peg on the end of here has to go, but this has to be slotted in, I think, down the side behind. Or is it above? Let's have a look. Looks like it's fitted along the side of, like that. Yeah, it does. So that little dent in the pipe just there, that fits around this pipe that goes to that first part that we put in this issue. So make sure that sits in there like that. Yep, that's that. And then glue in place. So now I'm just going to double check these instructions before I glue this in, just to make sure that it doesn't need sliding behind. I can't see that it would need sliding behind that that first cable, because it wouldn't make sense if it did need sliding behind, because you've got all these other parts in the way. That's on. A little bit of kicker on that, just to hold that part in, so that's all attached just there. Right, identify the two brackets on the underside of the right side of the engine cover. Right, okay, so those two little brackets, so there's one, let's see if you can make it out on camera here. So there's that one just there. It's not massively clear, but it's like a little, on this like bar that this part is put next to, there's two little grooves on it, and I'm guessing that this is going to go into those, this pipe cable here that we've just attached is going to go into those grooves. Fit the black part of the connecting pipe into the brackets. When you're happy with the fit, glue in place. So I know that that fits in well because I've already seen it kind of slot into place there anyway. So I'll pop a dab of glue in there and attach that side first. I'll just do the same on this side as well. There we go, so that's in. That side's, oh crap. There we go. Go on, fit in. There you go. Right, so same again, just a bit of kicker. And that'll fix that in place just there. Now we get to the interesting bit. So what we're doing with these bits that are coming off here is we're actually attaching these individually into the holes on the side of the engine just here. So you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 big holes just there. Oh, come on, get in the light, light it up. There you go. Those 6 big holes at the top just there, those are for the actual exhausts. It's the 6 tiny holes underneath. So can you see them? If I angle this right, yeah, there you go. So the 6 big holes at the top just there are the ones that the exhausts are going into. The 6 tiny holes underneath are the ones that these pipes are going into. So identify the pairs of holes on the engine block that the silver connecting pipes will fit into. Apply a little super glue to the pipes and fix them in place. So what we do is dab a super glue on the end of the part there, like that, and then use my tweezers and I'm just going to bend this round like that and put that one in there like that. So that in there a little, angled a little bit better. There we go. There we go. So that's kind of what you're looking at. So what I'll do, I'll get all these done and then we'll have a look and see how they all look when they're attached on this side, then we'll do the same on the other side. So once they're all in, that's how they'll look just there. So that's all the cables attached on that side. Now, carefully turn the engine over and position the pipes 10.8 along the side of the engine and identify the peg on the assembly CD fitted in issue 9. Fit the socket on the end in place. As before, fit the black connecting pipe onto the brackets, and when you're happy, glue it in place. Then we attach the small pairs of sockets on the side of the engine into the holes. So that's exactly the same as what we've just done. So same thing again, I'll just do that and show you how it all looks. So that, before I do it, that little part there has a little peg on that bit just about there, at the very end of my finger. That is where we're gluing the peg on, sorry, the socket, sorry, on this one too. So we'll get that done. Right then, so that's the other side of the cables done there. So that's what we did in the first part, and then we've got this bit that we've done in the second part. So those are all attached, and I've just put a little bit of super glue activator, so the kicker on there. Put the glue on the peg for the cable, and then glue it in place. A couple of quick blows on it, you know, and then once it's just started to set, apply. I've done the other one, and then when I've done each pair, I've put a bit of kicker on. So I've done that on all of those. So that's that bit done. Identify part 10.3 L3 on the tip below. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring all these exhaust parts in and see if there's any labels on them, which there isn't. So, right. They're all slightly differently shaped, which is a bonus. So those two are together. Those two are together. And I'm guessing those two are together. Right, so they steadily get shorter the further down you go. So that's those two. Then you've got those two. And then you've got those two. Okay, so L3. Right, so we're going to get the engine and we're going to hold it with the supercharger facing towards you. So let's have a look. Identify part L3. The pegs on the ends of the exhaust shaft. The pegs on the ends of the exhaust shafts fit into the two holes at the rear end on the left hand side of the engine block, 3.3. So that's that one there. So I'm guessing it goes in there like that. Now that one goes in there, then that one would go into there, and then that one would go, that's the other one, that one would go into there, like that. So they all fit in nicely. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make sure that these parts aren't the wrong way round by getting the other one and doing this. No, right, so the flat part of the exhaust where you've got the little pegs on it, just there, should fit flush against the, where those little black holes are just there that I showed you earlier on. So those 6 at the top, and then this part will go right at the back, so that should keep that level. Okay, near the ending block, take, fit in place, fit 10.1 at the front of the engine block. Again, fit the pegs into the engine block at the fit part 10.1 L1, which is that one, the longer one, at the front of the engine block. Again, pegs fit into the engine block and the rear of part 10.1 covers the nose of part 10.2. When you're happy with how the parts fit together, glue them in place in the correct order, showing below. So, single exhaust first. So, drop a glue on there, and then drop a glue on there, little bit there, and there. So then if we glue these into place, there, that's one glued in. So, same as anything with this build or with any build that you do, just take your time and just attach each part in turn. There. And then the last one for this side. Gluing those pegs in there like that. So that's what that will look like when they're all attached. So you can see it there nicely. And then we do the same thing on the other side, making sure that everything fits in place. Stage 16 of this build says, note that the silver connection pipes fitted in stages 6 and 9 are beneath the shafts of the exhaust. When you are happy with the fit of the last 3 exhaust parts, fit them in place by applying a little glue to the pegs on the end of the shafts. Remember to fix them in the correct order. The correct order is quite simple. The furthest one back has just the one hole on, and then they steadily get bigger from there. So just do the same thing on the other side. Go. So run that over with a little bit of the kicker, so that's all set. So that's what your engine will now look like with those pipes attached. So it's the engine itself now is looking good. I think in the next issue we mount it, I'm not sure. Speaking of the next issue, what do we get? We get the details for the engine and the supercharger, plus pipes for the top of the engine block. So those just there are the parts that we get with the next issue. That's issue 10. That should be up next week. So yeah, looking good, looking good. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to the Yorkshire Modeller for more weekly model building geekiness. Until next time, please remember to stay safe and happy modelling.